Hey, it's Eli, aka Atlas. Today I'm going to be doing an analysis on line weights, and this was requested by one of my subscribers by the name of Zadiel Vasquez. Actually, I thought it was kind of weird that anyone would actually be interested in knowing about line weights from me, because I actually don't give too much conscious thought to line weights. That is to say that not only are they very simple to understand, but they are perfect for bending and breaking and manipulating, but only once you know the rules of them. Line weight's primary purpose is to imply depth and distance, and occasionally lighting. The main rule of thumb to remember is that things closer to the foreground of the image you're depicting will have heavier, thicker lines than something far off in the distance. Now, I am from the school of thought where the easiest way to draw attention to the points of interest is a big, bold outline all around it. As you can see, these all have pretty consistent line weights between them. All the girls are fully outlined and the details inside the outlines are weighed accordingly. And this is a perfectly acceptable way to do line weights as well, especially for pinups where there's usually one central figure. As for how to do the interior lines, such as the seams and why some of the lines sort of disappear, that is all considered rendering to me, and I will probably do a video on that in the future. The classical way to do line weights on a picture like this would have been to emphasize the parts that are in perspective, such as thickening the line of Supergirl's forearm and elbow right here. If we were to do it the classic way, this would be a lot fuller. Shrinking the outline on her fist behind her back, and generally shrinking the lines on Spider-Gwen since she's behind the two of them. On the flip side, here's a prime example of making line weights the classical way. Molly Hayes' Runaways. The reason I put so much variation into the line weights in this picture as opposed to the previous one, despite there being only one central figure this time, is because of the intensity of the perspective. As I mentioned earlier, the key of line weights is to indicate depth, perspective, and form too. Molly's fist is the closest thing to the camera, so the lines surrounding it are bolder than the lines around the rest of her. Even the interior lines of the fist are a little bigger, even though they're slimmer than the outline. They're just bigger than the strands of her hair. All this is to convey depth and perspective. Line weights can also be used to separate and break up various elements of a picture. Here's Metal Gear Solid's leading lady and her ride, an old-fashioned motorcycle. There's a lot happening in this picture, but because of the line weights, nothing ever gets lost. The gun in her right hand is behind one of the bike's parts, which I don't know all the names of, so it has thinner lines than the part itself. Giving that part a thicker line then lets you see both of those elements clearly right here, the gun and the bike part both. And her knee pad right beside the engine piece also follows the same rule, right here. There's a thinner line beside the thicker line of the engine part. So the engine part is ahead of the knee pad because of the line weights, we can tell. The general idea is that the bike is in front of her, so its lines are generally larger than hers. So that about wraps up line weights in a nutshell. Whenever you want to convey depth, form, and perspective, make sure you use your line weights correctly. Things closer to us, the viewers, have thicker line weights than things in the background, and as you saw from the Molly Hayes example, that effect can even happen on the same character, where her hand is closer to the camera than her feet. The same rules apply to objects as well as people. Recommended reading includes the DC Comics Guide to Inking Comics by Klaus Janson. That is the lesson for today. Let me know if you like this new format. I'm thinking of continuing this rule of thumb segment for future videos. There'll be short videos like this one, and I'll go over some topics that don't really need to take as long as my tutorial videos, such as line weights, maybe some Photoshop tutorials in the future, and things like that. If you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe, and share it to all the social media sites, where you can also follow me, such as on my Facebook, my DeviantArt, and my Tumblr. I'll have the links in the description. Thank you for watching.
Après, non, je ne